Alright, what's going on, guys? How the hell are ya? Thank you for joining me. This might not be the easiest video to watch. Your mother and I have been talking, and we've decided to have this little chat with you. So, one of the main things about my channel is that I like to promote CDs, compact discs, my favorite format. Not that I try to put a lot of effort into shitting on vinyl and LPs and stuff like that. I've got a decent collection of them, but I obviously always prefer, not always, but usually prefer the CD format over LP. And I want to explain why. Because I got a question in a comment the other day asking me why I prefer compact disc over vinyl. So I want to answer that in many different ways in this video. So you might not like it if you're one of those vinyl only heads. I think a lot of my subscriber base and friends, a lot of you guys kind of like them both, and that's awesome. But this is my experience with vinyl, and this is my opinion about vinyl based on some things that I know and ways that I feel about it. A couple of things. We're listening to Ceremonium's Into the Autumn Shade, one of the greatest doom death records ever made. So, I guess also, I got this in today, and this is just kind of an example. I think we'll get the talk going with this. This is the debut LP from Wedrujacy Wiatr. So I know how to pronounce the band name, but the album, this is the first one. It's, I just remember it as TAM. T-A-M is how it starts off. So the CD version has different artwork. Eastside put this out. I think they licensed it from Werewolf Promotion. It's on black vinyl. It's got a little insert that's got nothing but Polish lyrics all over it. And the logo. And limited to 230 copies. You should still be able to pick this up from Eastside or maybe on Discogs for not too much. But I guarantee you this will go way up in price as people realize how amazing this record is. Had people been paying attention when it was released only on CD back in 2013. So I bought this because I loved this album so fucking much that I jumped at the opportunity to reward or give my money to the label and the artist and say, great job, I love it, I want more, please keep it up. And I want to support the artist in as many ways as possible. When I ordered the second album, I ordered the patch to go with it. So for me, it's a vinyl. It's a novelty to have this on vinyl. It's a bigger sort of like monument or shrine to this album to have it in a larger format and to have it in such a frail, limited, rare kind of thing. And I think that speaks to why vinyl is something that isn't my favorite format. It's such a novelty. It places more importance on the format and the size and the things that are not the art that goes into the music that you're hearing and the lyrics and the content and the stories that are being shared on these 12-inch vinyls. So that's really the main thing, is that it's just novelty for me. There's so much emphasis put on this format because there are people trying to stoke the re-fascination or the reignitement of the format after it was so dormant and so forgotten for 10, 20 years or so. So there's some people who, throughout the 90s never gave up on vinyl, but there were so many albums that if you only listen to vinyl, you're going to miss out on. So much of the fucking classic albums in my collection, at least I consider classics, are albums that are only released on CD, coincidentally. I know you might say that I only like them or I only consider them classics because I have a copy of them on CD and because you don't, because it's not on LP. But I don't know, that argument is not worth really having. Second, my reason is, so I've kind of read a couple of different articles on both sides of this argument. So in my opinion, the sound of a vinyl record does not reproduce the full dynamic range that is possible on a compact disc. That is my opinion, because I've read articles arguing both sides of it. So I kind of think really the fact lies somewhere between those two, and then there must not be that much of a difference really to be one side or the other. However, I definitely prefer the sound of a CD over an LP. I have kind of some hearing loss in this left ear, and so higher pitched frequencies in this ear kind of muddle up the sound. So especially like black metal on vinyl sounds a little bit more hissy or noisy a little bit. So I prefer compact disc. I love putting in a CD and knowing that I'm getting a crystal clear, perfect sound no matter how much dust is on the needle or on the LP, or if the speakers are out of whack, or if my amplifier is grounded or whatnot. There's just so much technicality going into a vinyl player. There's people who fucking pour wood glue on top of their LPs and then rip them off to have them cleaned. There's just so much maintenance involved in cleaning the LPs to make them sound as good as they possibly can. Whereas I think as long as you just don't touch the bottom side of a CD, you're fine. You can drop these things. The jewel case is a protector of everything inside. You can drop this on the floor and it's going to be fine. It's not going to ding up your shit. You're just going to have to replace a jewel case because you busted a tab on it. I don't care about dropping this $30 CD on the floor. I honestly don't. And that's because they're all protected in this beautiful, rigid jewel case. You can take them anywhere. You can throw them in your backpack. You can rustle them around in the back of your car or whatnot. So they're super portable. Obviously, you can't play 12-inch vinyls in your car. Need I go on? The last point I guess I need to make before I go on burying this into the ground too far is that the expense that goes into creating these LPs is so much more than CDs. So there's been such a rapid shift in attention and money going from CDs to LPs in the last few years, and even now cassettes again, that the people who have equipment to manufacture CDs can do so for so fucking cheap, but the business just isn't really there as much as it used to be. Even though they were offering, if I wanted to have a CD printed, 100 copies of it, I haven't really looked at the going rate for it in the last few years, but usually it's about $1 a CD. Honestly, you can get like a 2-panel booklet, full color, all over the place, for about $1.50, somewhere around there. Sometimes sealed with jewel case. You're fucking good. LPs these days, running cost to the label is around $18 to $20. So they have to turn around and charge between like $25 and $30 to make, I don't know, was that $6-7 or so off of that? So first of all, the cost is just so much greater, so that they have to produce less so that they can make just about as many dollars as they would with a CD or less. So labels have to charge between $25 and $30 just to make or break even on their LPs. And I really can't believe that it's getting to be so expensive. And furthermore, disregarding expense, the time that goes in now to producing LPs can be pretty nuts. Because there's these fucking record store day releases that are clogging up a lot of the manufacturers. So you're usually in for about 4 to 6 months wait time when you get that order in for a vinyl LP, which fucking backs everything up. These record store day releases, they're all produced by these big name labels who have a priority over these smaller short run underground labels. So you're up a fucking crick and you're not going to make your money back unless you sell the shit out of every one of your releases on vinyl. So I know CD doesn't sell all that well, and that's kind of not what I'm really getting at here. But yeah, I guess that about sums up my beef with vinyl. They're harder to store, by the way. And they're just so fragile. Just having them in that delicate little bag, shipping them all around the world. You get the ring wear, and you've got seams split around the outside, or you've got to hope that the label knows to ship the LP outside of the jacket, but in the sleeve. It's just insane. I just have so many reasons for preferring CD to vinyl, and that's all of them as far as I can remember. So let me know what you think down below. Hope I didn't piss you guys off too much, but I had to get this off my chest, and I hope it explains a little bit about what I am trying to make my channel about and how I'm trying to make my YouTube channel different from a lot of the other guys. So thanks for joining me. Let me know what you think. See you next time.